quiet of night, I whispered my plea, holding her close, hoping for her decree.
The board groans beneath my foot, wet, old timber giving its morning complaint, and a rooster somewhere on the far bank answers, like it's part of the bridge's chorus. I step slowly so I don't startle the wood. Saksabai, I whisper, more to the span than to anyone, and for a second, the bridge feels like a living thing that knows our names. Hello, I'm Sumnang Bradley. Walk the temples with me? Today we'll walk smaller crossings, the planks and ropes that stitch villages together. Quiet stones, loud stories. Welcome back to Ancient Echoes KH. I promise, a sound first portrait of the keepers who mend and mind footbridges, the plank fitter who can match grain like a tailor, the rope tender who reads weather in a frayed strand, and the commune's steward who keeps accounts of obligation, access, and favors. We'll move from close, tactile scenes into a short context corner. Nothing technical here, just the cultural logic behind these crossings. And I'll be explicit. I will not give instructions for repairs, measurements, or locations. Those details stay with engineers and the communities themselves. Instead, we'll listen, learn, and respect the hands that keep villages walking. Context corner, briefly. In the countryside, you'll commonly see 3 types of simple crossings. Bamboo spans, woven strips laid across bamboo stringers, are light and cheap, used to cross shallow canals and rice channels. Nailed plank walkways are assembled from salvaged wood, doors, beams, old boats, nailed and lapped into place. They creak, they tell stories. And simple suspension or rope bridges, steel or hemp hopes supporting a narrow deck, are held together by a handful of rituals, the right splice, a seasonal oiling, a neighbor's eye for when to close the span. All of these answer to seasons. The dry, when paths are easy, the monsoon, when ropes sag and planks float, and decisions must be made. For safety and privacy reasons, we won't share load numbers, step-by-step repair formulas, or GPS coordinates. Technical questions should be referred to accredited liaisons listed in the show notes. Let me begin with Sukun, the plank fitter. I found him before dawn, lantern in hand, in a courtyard full of timber. He calls himself a carpenter, but laughs when I call him that. I am more a matchmaker for wood, he says, and if you could hear his grin, you would know it's true. He picks up a reclaimed plank like a person picking a word from a vocabulary. Listen to how he runs his thumb along a knot, how he tilts the board to the light to read the grain. Apprenticeship in his family isn't a classroom. It's standing shoulder to shoulder until your hands remember the history. He showed me how an old scarf used to tie a board to a frame, and how that faded pattern tells him which household it came from, which means the wood is more than material. It's memory. He works without blueprints. He told me, smiling, that a well-fitted tenon is like a promise. You put your word in, and the bridge holds it. He spoke of choosing wood that will flex in the wet season rather than snap, an instinct I can't teach you here, because that's precisely the kind of procedural instruction we're withholding. Instead, picture the rasp of his plane, the shower of pale dust, the river murmuring nearby, and Sukun's low, practical jokes about the carpenters who try to fix a bridge with a borrowed saw and a bad temper. A good plank is patient, he said. It will wait for the hand that respects it. Next, the rope tender, Mrs. Dina, who keeps a set of ropes like a nurse keeps her medicines. She treats a fray like a small grief and a splice like an answer. I watched her sit cross-legged on the edge of a span as the morning clouded, and she worked a loop with quiet concentration. Her hands tell weather. When a strand is glazed with a certain sheen, she knows the monsoon will come heavy and fast. She oils the fibers, never for show, always because the oil slows rot and keeps hands from burning on a hot steel cable. and she lets neighbors test a step or two after repairs, watching faces more than feet. We talked about the lore of rope, who gets first say in a repair, which families are exempt from collecting small tolls, which knots you teach a child, and which you keep for yourself. She laughed when I asked if it ever felt like magic. No, she said, it feels like responsibility. The rope remembers the people who cross it. When a child shouts from a far bank and runs across for a hello, she pauses her work and offers a biscuit, because these bridges are stitched into everyday care, not just engineering.
Now pause with me for a soundscape moment. Picture the span at noon. Children running, a bamboo basket creaking, rain first pattering, then thicker, a laughter cutting across the deck. Let that montage sit in your ears. Feet on board, a pulley's soft sigh, a neighbor's call, rain on bamboo. Hold that feeling of being between banks, connected, a little exposed, but together. The last keeper is sometimes invisible to outsiders. The commune's steward, Mr. Chia, who keeps the books of obligation that no one ever reads until something breaks. He's the one who remembers who donated a plank after the flood, who negotiates a day's labor in rice for a night's repair, who hears a family's plea when paths are cut off and decides where limited resources go. I sat with him under a mango tree as he told me about a storm year when 3 spans needed repair and the community pooled rice and labor so the children could reach school. He spoke with the clarity of someone who has had to weigh fairness against necessity. There are customs, small tolls for crossing in some seasons, volunteer rotations in others, and a practice where elders are given priority at dusk. These are social contracts, as much as logistical ones. Mr. Chia told me, quietly, that sometimes the hardest work isn't hammering a plank, but explaining why a repair is delayed. He mediates pride and need, and he often uses humor to remind people that bridges are shared things. If you are stingy with a plank, the wood will remember, he said, and we both laughed because, well, it's true, in a way that isn't technical. Generosity keeps bridges from becoming battlegrounds.
Before we close, a short practical set of visitor etiquette, vetted, simple, and respectful. If you encounter one of these small crossings in a village, always ask before you cross or photograph. Do not ask for measurements, repair techniques, or coordinates. Do not request that a keeper demonstrate a repair on a fragile span. If you want to visit, arrange it through a commune liaison or a vetted cooperative listed in the show notes. Offer fair payment or a small gift for time. A day's unskilled labor is not the same as the apprenticeship and risk these keepers take. And please follow the local custom on when and how to cross at night. These bridges are living community resources, not attractions. If you love what you hear, support the groups who document and preserve these practices rather than turning the keepers into unpaid guides. So, what do bridges carry beyond bodies and bicycles? Memory, obligation, favors, jokes about who always forgets an umbrella. These tiny exchanges are what keep a place moving. The next time you cross anything that looks fragile, think about the hands that keep it whole. The plank fitter who matches grain and keeps stories alive. The rope tender who reads weather in a fiber. The steward who balances needs and pride. They are, in their own way, guardians of everyday continuity. Thank you for walking this short span with me. If you enjoyed this episode and want more local portraits, sound rich, respectful, and curious, subscribe to Ancient Echoes KH. You'll find show notes, partner contacts, and vetted community liaisons at the website. Quiet Stones, Loud Stories. I'm Sam Nang Bradley. Listen, learn, belong.
flawless and rare. You stand so quiet, soft in the air. I dared not to rush, you feared you'd flee. Your heart too pure to belong to me. If you turn away, I reach and bind, press my hand, seal body and mind. Your brows I trace, your breath I steal. This mark I place is dark and real. From this moment break and fall, hear the spell, obey the call. False love born from sacred lies, second one whispers through closed eyes. Follow me, don't fight, don't run, your soul is caught, my work is done. Empty will, your light undone, under spell, under Sigmund. Crystal beauty, diamond bright, caught between shadow, charm and night. Time won't save you, truth won't last. This vow is carved, the line is cast. My words are smoke, my touch is fire. I bend your heart to dark desire.